The Avengers is about life, and the new Avengers is about death. Quote by Jonathan Hickman. So it's come down to this. So after reading some articles and analysis of Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, which is basically battling the concept of death, universal contraction, and a whole bunch of other stuff that's scientific technobabble that I cannot understand, I wanted to be into this role that Jonathan Hickman wrote up, what he created in his own Avengers and New Avengers run. So Jonathan Hickman, for those who don't know about Jonathan Hickman, he was a former author of Marvel, and he was a former writer at Marvel, where he had worked on and had he's known for also working at Image Comics, creating a series called The Nightly News, The Manhattan Projects, East of West, and Marvel Comics' run of Fantastic Four, FF, Future Foundation as it's called, and S.H.I.E.L.D. And then he ended his run with Fantastic Four titles to write the Avengers and New Avengers as part of the Marvel Now relaunch. And he would also write what I consider my favorite event comic so far, Infinity, and plus the Avenger tie-ins for that comic. And in 2015, he wrote the crossover event Secret Wars, the conclusion of his Magma opus. So, yeah, So when I was looking all this stuff up, and then I had asked for some opinions about what they thought of the Avengers, New Avengers stuff that he did, a lot of people say that a lot of people wish he came back and did it again, or ran the Marvel creative team, or did anything at Marvel since he's no longer there. And yeah, and then I looked up more about how the Avengers and the New Avengers is this yin and yang contraction kind of thing, where the Avengers are about life, they want to save worlds, and they want to protect as many people as possible in the wake of this incursion event that's going on. And the New Avengers are morally compromising their ideologies and basically committing horrible things that make them look like they're villains. Now, the New Avengers... Let's talk about the first 3 issues of New Avengers. The New Avengers of Jonathan Hickman's run is basically focusing on the Illuminati. Yeah, because they were a group created by Brian Michael Bendis, who are basically anything you can imagine what the Illuminati stood for in real world time, and especially with conspiracy theorists. Basically, these are this is a small group of powerful people who secretly work things behind the scenes. They operate the world in their own little way. And the group majorly consists of Namor, the King of Atlantis and the Seven Oceans, Tony Stark of the Avengers, Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, Black Bolt, King of the Inhumans, Dr. Stephen Strange, Sorcerer Supreme of Earth, and Professor Charles Xavier, leader of the X-Men and on behalf of the mutant community. And when you add all these flavors together about them, yeah, you can understand why it's possible such a group would be very dangerous if they're cooperating, because really think about it. Namor can control the oceans, basically. He's basically Aquaman. Tony Stark and Reed Richards have very powerful tech companies, and Reed Richards has a scientific community of everything. Black Bolt is the king of the Inhumans. Stephen Strange can control magic and all the mystical aspects, and Charles Xavier can basically influence the mutant community that if they want to fight, then they'll have to fight for their viewpoint. And basically, this group had formed in a retcon sometime in the aftermath of the Kree Skrull War, and probably after the Avengers Defenders War. And then Iron Man had grown to realize that each individual member had information about these alien races beforehand, and that they could have collectively stopped it. So he brings the Illuminati together with Black Panther and Wakanda, and proposes that they form a government of superhumans. Namor refuses on the grounds that there are too many superheroes who are violent outsiders, such as Hawkeye and Quicksilver in the comics, both former criminals. Xavier refuses on the grounds that mutants are already hated and feared, and if Iron Man thinks he can fight this with iconic superheroes, it will result in too many heroes being feared and hated as much as mutants. Doctor Strange refuses on the ground that too many heroes are anti-establishment, and that Iron Man has assembled to form a governing body that would not be anti-established, but rather form a counter-establishment. The group, however, does agree to meet and exchange information regularly, and the only individual who outright refuses to participate in this group is Black Panther, who fears that any association with this will end in less than altruistic actions. And he was pretty right on that. World War Hulk was because of what the Illuminati did by blasting Hulk into the space, because, you know, that was clearly going to solve everything. Let's see. The whole exposing of the Illuminati happening virtually on every occasion, every time in a horrible disaster, the events of Civil War, and we all know how that worked out. Curse you one more day! Anyways, and yeah, basically this group has a lot of bad track record on them. So when Jonathan Hickman wanted to bring this group back in the New Avengers to deal with the more darker side Marvel and the Marvel Universe as a whole as part of this huge cosmic multiversal event that's going to happen, I was very interested in this. But here's the thing I also keep hearing. A lot of people keep saying that they want to see the Illuminati in the MCU. However, there's just one tiny problem. You see, Iron Man's most likely going to die in Avengers 4 since Robert Downey Jr.'s contract is up. The X-Men aren't in the MCU yet. Black Panther's dead and will be back in Avengers 4. Reed Richards has not been established in the MCU. Black Bolt does kind of exist, but then the series was canceled and they'll probably reboot it just to go ahead and say, okay, that was a disaster, let's try again. Namor has not been established, and Stephen Strange has just recently become Sorcerer Supreme. I think I get the timeline all mixed up. And yeah, and Charles Xavier, well, he's in a universe, and he's probably going to turn old again, and then he's probably going to get young again, and then head to another dimension where they're going to fix all this, and then establish that they don't exist anymore, and then bring them into the MCU after Avengers 4. Yeah, and here's the other thing that I also have a problem with. You see, I don't think they would form the Illuminati in the MCU, because the Illuminati was an always darker look at the Marvel Universe. And all these characters that have been established in the MCU, such as Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Black Panther, they don't really have the dark look on everything. Like Iron Man and Tony Stark and Doctor Strange couldn't get along much. Namor doesn't exist, like I said, yet. Black Panther has just recently become king and has only made one major earth-shattering decision that reveals Wakanda's location. And Reed Richards thinks he can fix everything, even though he's failed at, 4 movies, and he couldn't do that. And let's not talk about his marriage life in the comics, because it's always ended a disaster. But yeah, the idea of putting the Illuminati in the MCU universe is kind of difficult to do, because you would have to change things up. You would have to make the story darker. You would have to make the Inhumans in the movies canon and not the TV canon. And their TV show is a complete disaster, like I said. So yeah, really the only one who realistically could be part of the Illuminati and the MCU at best is Doctor Strange. But even then, I don't know. But yeah, all these people are very powerful in their own way, and yeah, there would have to be a lot of establishing first in order to get this group off the ground. And, Captain America's no longer around by the time Avengers 4 happens, so they would have to probably get someone who embodies his beliefs, so that might be Bucky. I honestly hope we do see Sebastian Stan as the new Captain America. He'd be awesome in that role. But anyways, let's get to New Avengers issue number 1. So I wanted to go ahead and find the omnibus for this, so I'm just reading scans of it. So I'm looking at the scans and whatnot. But I was hoping to get the Volume 1 omnibus of Avengers. However, there's just one tiny problem. It's out of print. Yeah, Volume 2 is still in print, yet Volume 1 isn't, and that really makes no sense. So, yeah. And basically, it talks about how previously, in the New Avengers, years ago, the most powerful men in the world voted on whether or not to run the world in secret. Only one of them disagreed. T'Challa, Iron Man, spoke, and Black Panther's advocating that the end is now, and it's going to end in a horrible disaster, and he's right on that, so basically he just really saved himself from that. And the issue number 1 is called Memento Mori. So is this going to be that backwards logic? And then we get our first official dialogue, a speech by Reed Richards in the present timing. Everything dies. You, me, everyone on this planet, our sun, our galaxy, and eventually the universe itself. This is simply how things are. It's inevitable, and I accept it. Wow, Reed, you really are not being optimistic here, aren't you? Yeah, this is what many people remember about the New Avengers run, is this speech. And sadly, he has a good point. Like, it's an inevitability that everyone's gonna die. Like, the universe is gonna go out, we're gonna be trapped in endless darkness forever, and I'm gonna be sad now. So, let's move on before I get more depressed. Then we go back to 26 hours ago. Yeah. Basically, these Wakanda people are, these kids basically find this old relic, and they basically part of this whole testing of trying to find the best of their new generation, and basically the tribute calls for blood, and it activates this map, the stellar cartographer map, a map of the solar system, but it's not really their solar system. There's 12 planets on it, so it's a different one. And Black Panther reveals saying this is where they're headed, and yeah, Black Panther. Let's see. I'm trying to recall. Is this T'Challa or Nicopolis? As he said in the beginning. I kept getting confused at that. And anyways, Black Panther goes ahead and congratulates these young children that they're gonna feel the future, and they're gonna bring a new age of innovation and new ideas to the future of the Wakanda nation. So yeah. Eventually, then all of a sudden a portal opens and a rhinoceros comes out. That makes sense. So something clearly scared it. The portal's still open, so Black Panther goes through. Yeah, that was a good idea. And then when he goes, he sees his world's all red and whatnot. My God, it's Crisis on Infinite Earths! They finally found their way to the Marvel Universe! Everyone out of it! And it turns out that what he sees is another Earth about to collide with another one, and people are transferring into the planet. And then we cut to this woman and her group of soldiers. And they're speaking in some language that I refuse to understand. And basically, we have our translators, aka most likely Killbait, our cannon fodder, basically. They said they were translating what they were saying, and he said to stay on the other side. Yeah, they didn't listen. Yeah. And Black Panther obviously is not happy about this since he tells them to be quiet. But yeah, they start trying to hear what the hell they're trying to say, and they're activating a device. And yeah, they start asking, did anyone notice there's a giant planet hanging in the sky? They came from there. What T'Challa says. And they're wondering what's going on. And then one of the obvious canon fathers is going to go ahead and play the stupid role and basically says, I'm going to go ask them. I'm like, it's not like they're mysterious, could be hostile, they're armed, they could shoot at anybody at point blank range. And they're basically saying, besides, what kind of future astronaut explorers is afraid of a little first contact? Okay. Do you not know what the definition of observing means first before making a decision such as walking right in front of them and saying, hello, welcome to Wakanda? And even Black Panther thinks that's a dumb idea. And then the mysterious lady just says their name and they're talking for a little bit. And they're trying to wonder what the hell's going on. And then the lady says, and you speak English, so it's one of those Earths. Yeah, they're just kind of sucking nowadays. We have political correctness running about, and they're probably pissing everybody off. Oh, and politicians are crazy. That's been established for eons, though. And then when it reveals what she is, reveals that she's basically going to do something to destroy a world. Well, basically, Black Panther says, yeah, he's going to do it. And sure enough, the lady obviously ordering her trigger-happy friends to open fire, and 2 of the kids are dead. Yeah, that first contact mission is going so well. Oh, and we see the skeletal remains. So yeah, this is our kind of weaponry that disintegrates you. And sure enough, the survivor of the group is pissed off and fights back. And then then Black Panther takes him and disappears. And they're trying to wonder what the hell's going on. And yeah, after when the guy goes ahead and says his brother and sister are dead, and they have to go make them pay, and yeah, T'Challa just basically tries to be the voice of reason, and then he just says, "It seemed like such a perfect day," and gets shot in the head, and T'Challa just screams out, "No!" And yeah, basically, Nikono, I think I can't pronounce their names probably. He just says, "My king, I see, yes. What do you see, Nuko? Tell me what you see." "I see them, my king, I see the stars." No! And Black Panther's clearly pissed off, and basically they want ants, and basically he's gonna fight now, and he's beating up all the soldiers, and basically the strange pale-skinned lady just kills her fellow officer by disintegrating him, so she's basically Superwoman. And yeah, Black Panther charges at them, and ultimately it's revealed that she activates this device that blows up the entire Earth. And then the sky goes back to being blue, and then Black Panther is saying, "Once the gods spoke, and I was given a prophecy, a word spoken in fire and flood, a word of dead kings and hopeless causes, of the future lost, and of worlds dying, of angels and lost souls. And when facing the end, when everything around you crumbles, when everything withers and dies, who answers the call of desperate men? Ghostbusters, right?" Oh, New Avengers, Illuminati. Oh, okay. "Goddess, oh goddess," Black Panther says about the next day, and he's talking to a shrine. "Save me for what this world demands." And then we see some vehicles arrive. "Save me from righteous men. Save me from thinkers. Save me from summoners. Save me from midnight kings and the devil himself. Oh goddess, save me. Save me from what we are about to do." And thus arrives the new Illuminati. Captain America is also among them, as he's part of the Illuminati, which did confuse me when I first read this. I was wondering, wait, why is Captain America in this group? Like, okay, I think I can understand one aspect. He's supposed to be their moral compass, but I don't know if one would think Captain America would outright refuse to join this group, because it's a group that's basically running the world in secret. And remember, and he knows what it's like to have a small group of people run an entire world or an entire nation. You know, he's from an era where there was a crazed Nazi leader that was trying to control the world himself, and we all know how that worked out. Yeah, this is confusing for me. So then we move on to issue 2, and after we get our previously on a New Avengers, we get the title of this issue called "In Secret They Rule," written by Jonathan Hickman. And the Illuminati are also the holders of the Infinity Stones. Yes, they're called the Infinity Gems in the comics, but I'm used to calling them the Infinity Stones. We got Black Bolt, Namor, who holds the Power Gem, Reed Richards, who holds the Reality Gem, Iron Man holds the Space Gem, Captain America holds the Time Gem, Doctor Strange holds the Soul Gem, Black Panther does not, and Professor Xavier holds the Mind Gem. However, you do notice that he's not there. It's because he's dead. Yeah, Charles Xavier is dead. He died in Avengers vs. X-Men issue number 11. And I'll talk about Avengers vs. X-Men when I get around to reading that. But, yeah. Professor Xavier is dead, so the X-Men are currently doing alright right now, I bet. So then we see that Reed Richards is interrogating the strange woman inside a white cubicle. And yeah, basically he's asking what the hell's going on and what this whole thing's going on, and he wants to know why. And basically she screams in pain. Basically it breaks hope, it crushes what makes us decent, and steals what little honor remains, and basically says you have no idea what's coming. And basically Reed Richards just says, why don't you tell me? And then we move forward. Black Panther is heading somewhere, and yeah, a lot of the Wakanda officials are kind of pissed off at the mere idea of Namor being here because of what happened in Avengers vs. X-Men, where Namor was possessed by the Phoenix and killed a bunch of Wakandans. Yeah, that was a good idea. And bringing him into your native land, who are pissed off and want to start a war with them, concerning what happens in the Infinity Events comic. Yeah, this is getting badly. So T'Challa. And basically Black Panther makes these demands, basically saying, do not interact with no Wakandians, do not allow yourself to be seen, if seen, do not speak, unless under no circumstances are you to venture beyond the city into the city. And yeah, basically Namor decides to go ahead and further piss him off by saying, oh, in secret we rule. I remember you said a gathering such as this was a great mistake. You called us fools. You said we didn't know what we were doing. So tell me, T'Challa, were you wrong then, or are you that desperate now? And then Black Panther just says this, well, here, there are rules. You must adhere to Namor. Do you understand? And Namor just says, of course. And then Black Panther just goes and decides to continue the pissing contest by saying, once everything's all done and everything's squared away, I'm going to kill you. And then we go back to Reed Richards' speech about how everything dies and how his real life sucks because he kind of fails at marriage life and has lost all sense of humanity, but that's a different matter. But he does say, there is an extension in his speech. He does say at the end to the members of the Illuminati, what I will not tolerate, what I find unacceptable, is the unnatural acceleration of that end, which is why T'Challa summoned us here. And as the untimely end of everything is what we now face. And Tony Stark points out the obvious thing that Reed Richards is clearly doing. See, Reed, this is why you are never getting invited to good parties. Yeah, among other things, like his wife kind of hates him at times. He has children he ignores. He kind of has lost all meaning of being a human being and decides to be a mechanical robot who's obsessed with technology and science. Yeah. So, yeah, Doctor Strange is wondering what the hell's going on and why they did that, why Black Panther called for this meeting, and basically says this is so different. And Black Panther just says, the future of my people died in my arms yesterday, Stephen. What followed, it dwarfed that. And then Dr. Stephen Strange starts to speak and says, but Namor cuts him off saying, no, before we get to what brought us here, there are precautions that need to be taken. We have been infiltrated before, played for fools. If matters are this grave, I would know if one of us is not who you say you are. Prove yourselves. Yeah, what Namor is referring to, at least from I've gathered in my knowledge in my studies of the Marvel Universe, is referring to what happened with Black Bolt after World War Hulk. You see, Black Bolt was a Skrull. Yeah, Black Bolt was impersonated by a Skrull during a meeting before World War Hulk, so probably before the Civil War. So Black Bolt probably didn't have an actual say in what happened to Hulk being sent into space. He was there for some time. The Skrull was Black Bolt for some time, and clearly that sucks for Black Bolt. But yeah. Yeah, but then Captain America, after Reed Richards agrees that Namor isn't wrong, he basically asks, okay, where are your Infinity Stones? And Dr. Stephen Strange provides a clear, logical answer. He hid it in the Chaos Realm, a pocket reality constructed from pure white light of 1 billion prayers. I've hidden the soul gem there. Retrieving it is costly, so I only do so if I must. What did Tony Stark do with one of the most powerful stones in the history of the universe? He left it in a sock drawer. Really? Like, okay, Tony, I know you're like this, but really? The most powerful stone, one of the most powerful stones in existence, you have one, and you put it in the sock drawer. Way to go, Dr. Stephen Strange. You have won the award for clear precaution, while Tony Stark wins the award for stupidity nonsense. And basically he just says, okay, we got 3 stones, so that's more than enough. My name is Tony Stark. I am Iron Man. And they go over their names and say who they are, and there's this computer that basically confirms that they are indeed who they are. And yeah, Captain America is still here. I'm still finding this uncomfortable. So then after this meeting gets going, we get this huge, complicated science babble talk that I'm pretty sure scientists everywhere will try to understand, but really we don't have multiverse theory yet proven. Even then, like, we have someone who died recently that says that he doesn't believe in it anymore. Stephen Hawking. So, yeah, there's this whole stuff that's going on, and they're talking, and, yeah, basically they realize, yeah, there's incursion that's happening, yeah, we're kind of screwed, so we need to take all matters of steps, and this is when Tony Stark and Reed Richards have these things, talk about the device that destroys other planets, so, yeah, and then Captain America's clearly pissed off, saying that they're not going to stop here, and, yeah. He basically says we should do it the right way. We will prepare, gather intelligence, and when the next episode occurs, use that information to pursue out of a way to win. Because that's what we do. When I also need to find out the next episode of the series finale of Mr. Robot, I am very close to getting to answering the questions. And, yeah. And Reed Richards, being the imbecile that he is, says, there's a chance that won't work. We won't have enough time. And... yeah. Namor just wonders why. And he just says, yeah, according to Swan, there are constants. And call them rules. And basically explains that, yeah, this may not have enough time. And there's like another incursion about to happen to the world in about 8 hours. Yeah. And sure enough, they're kind of left with these ideas that basically says, okay, let's do the more horrible, unethical things. Well, Captain America tries to be the Cap Boy Scout and be the one that with rationality, and Captain America refuses to entertain that. However, Captain America does say, we have the Infinity Stones. Why don't we just use them? And yeah, basically they consider this and says, we would need all 6 of the gems to be certain. Charles Xavier is dead, and the location of the Mind Gem is lost with him. No, we can use the 5 we have to find his. The stones want to be together. And yeah, so they decide, yeah, we reassemble the Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, that's clearly gonna work. And then we get these clear previews of chaos and hell about to break loose, but we don't know yet. This is probably gonna happen till way later. But then T'Challa and Reed Richards, 2 members of the new Illuminati talk, and basically they're playing their own secret as saying that if this fails, we have to learn to destroy a world. Genocide to save your own hide. The most noble of causes. Yes, Reed, I wonder why your wife doesn't like you right now. So, yeah, now we get to Chapter 3, Issue 3, Infinity of the New Avengers. We get, after the death of Charles Xavier, we get this moment where the Beast, aka I'm trying to remember his name, McCoy, yeah, basically he's remembered, he got this psychological memory sealed away, and then when he opened it, he basically got a letter from Charles Xavier that says, remember. Oh god, Charles Xavier has imprinted his mind into his! This is going to turn into the search for Charles Xavier! Ah, no, that's not where they're going with this. No, they're going to reveal that Charles Xavier actually knows where the Mind Stone is. And in these flashbacks, we see that Charles Xavier is standing. Did he walk again before his death? Because there have been times where he has walked, And yet people still complain about Batgirl walking after she was shot, and yet I never seen people complain about Charles Xavier walking around, even though he's well known to being in his wheelchair. So, yeah. He basically had a feeling that his death was going to come, so he goes ahead and entrusts Beast with Henry, and basically it's revealed that, yeah, he has the Mind Stone. And sure enough, the members of the Illuminati arrive, specifically Captain America, Black Bolt, and Namor, along with Black Bolt's gigantic dog. Yeah. So, yeah, he basically... Captain America says, "Welcome to the rabbit hole, Dr. McCoy. Pack a bag." Sure enough, a day later... Yeah, that 8 hours is taking a long time, isn't it? So, yeah, Black Panther is basically inducted into the Illuminati, and he says he's uncertain about joining this group, though Namor says, "The Beast makes a good point, Richards. We should take what we need and send him on his way. This one lacks the constitution for hard decisions. I should know. I pissed off all of Wakanda, and they would later destroy my civilization. So I decided to be petty and vindictive by going ahead and ratting out Wakanda, saying they have an Infinity Stone, even though that was a boro-faced lie. I'm a terrible leader, aren't I?" And sure enough, Reed Richards just says that basically, he believes that Beast would do this just because Charles Xavier would, and yeah. Basically, these devices that being implanted into their hands is in their palms. It's also as an act as a multiversal homing beacon, enabling us to find him, and yada yada yada. And I'm trying to wonder how, because if I'm applying DC logic, yes, I know I'm doing a horrible thing. Vibrational frequencies, if that's how the Marvel multiverse works, but I get the feeling that doesn't, so I'm gonna scrap that talk. And basically, the plan now, after revealing that the beacons are working, they basically say, okay, now we wait for another apocalypse and hope like hell your idea works. And sure enough, Reed Richards goes in and after feeding this strange woman French fries, yeah, they go ahead and talk and explain his plan involving the Infinity Stones. And yeah, she even calls them the Stones and says that this is a good plan. However, the stones will not work outside their native universe, so they have limitations, but the stones will buy you time. Yeah, that buys you time, but what happens when time runs out? Hey, that's actually a good idea for an event, for a storyline. Time runs out. Save that for the epic finale we have for before Secret Wars. Yeah, so... Yeah, basically, there's a hint that all hell's gonna break loose soon, and then we move past 1 day later, 2 days later, 3 days later, 4 days later. Yeah, and apparently I have no idea what she said in this dialogue when she opens her eyes, but yeah, Beast and Black Ball are transferring themselves somewhere to Pakistan with the rest of the Illuminati. And then they realize that an Earth is coming and an incursion is about to start. And, yeah. They're kind of shocked at what happened, and they bring out the Infinity Stones and reassemble the Infinity Gauntlet, and Captain America takes the stones in order to prepare for the Infinity Gauntlet. However, certain people have seemingly detected this power happening. The Watchers, Galactus, and the Mad Titan, Thanos. Oh, not epic movie Thanos. He's too awesome for this. No, we gotta get the crazed, death-obsessed one. You know, the one who apparently wants to perform necrophilia with a dead woman who also can transform herself into a woman, but, yeah. So, Captain America suggests that maybe, if Reed, T'Challa, or Iron Man do it. However, Iron Man believes that it should be, Captain America. He has the strongest will and whatnot. And yeah, Captain America activates it and tries to send the Earth back. However, this beam's working, but then something happens. The Mind Stone, the Reality Stone, the Power Stone, the Space Stone, the Time Stone, and the Soul Stone they all shatter. Except for the Time Stone, that disappears. All the Infinity Stones are shattered. They're all broken. And yeah, Beast is just wondering what everyone else was wondering when they first read this. What was that? What just happened? Captain America doesn't know what happened. And Namor, being Namor, just said this. I do. I know what happened. You killed us all, you incompetent fool! You've killed us all! And whacks Captain America in the face. Beast just was wondering what the hell's going on. And then afterwards, when they return back to Wakanda in their secret location for the Illuminati meeting, yeah, they point out that, yeah, this whole situation kind of sucks, and Captain America wants to make his speech, and basically believes Black Panther will be on his side. So Captain America basically has this gigantic speech going on where basically it means that if we fight like animals, we'll die like animals mentality from Doctor Who, because, you know, what they're about to do is going to be unethical, destructive, and ultimately no one wins in the end, and what you do when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're going to be horrified. He assumes that T'Challa will side with him. Black Panther, being, you know, wanting to play the role of Batman and be a dick about it, says no. And then Captain America just wonders what the hell happened. And then Black Panther explains his reasoning. I told you I would do the right thing. How I feel and my personal desires mean nothing. My people are everything. In this, I am not a man, I am a nation. And I will do whatever it takes. And yeah, Black Ball doesn't when Captain America turns to Black Bolt, yeah, he can't answer because if he talks, he's gonna blow up the entire room. But he basically says, yeah, I'm kind of with Black Panther on this. And basically, Captain America is trying to reason with everybody, and yeah, he basically says, I will not allow what you're about to do happen. I refuse to go with the lesser of two evils route. I refuse to do this. Iron Man is understandably pissed and just says this. Damn it, Steve. Why do you have to be this way? I'm sorry. I'll find some way to make this right. And then Captain America just wonders, wait, what? And then Iron Man tells Stephen Strange to mind wipe him. He knocks him out, and he erases his entire memory, his entire grouping with the Illuminati. And this is now turned into identity crisis when Reed Richards finally remembers what the woman said. You pity me? I pity you. Thinking you have some say in how all this ends. And that's the end of issue 3. The Illuminati standing over, having cast Captain America out of the group and erasing his memory of his time in the Illuminati. With Beast and Tony Stark at the desk while everyone else is just standing over Captain America. Way to go! I'm pretty sure this is not going to come back to bite them in the ass. Oh, let's be honest. This is going to come back to bite them in the ass. I'm like, they did this with Identity Crisis, had Batman remember at the end of all of it and in the aftermath, and go paranoid and go on a quest for vengeance, basically, by basically building a gigantic satellite. So we know how this is going to end. Captain America is going to get very pissed off and probably lead to Civil War II before Civil War II actually happens. So, yeah, good luck, Illuminati. You really knew how to work this, right? So, yeah, that was the first 3 issues of New Avengers Illuminati by Jonathan Hickman, thus beginning the start of the Jonathan Hickman era of Marvel. Well, at least the Avengers and New Avengers run. But, yeah, the artwork was freaking fantastic. I love the covers as well. They all have a very unique realism to it, but also maintain the air of, this is a comic book, there's no such thing as realism. Like, I would love, like I said, it'd be pretty difficult to put the Illuminati in the MCU, considering the MCU has a very humorous side to it, and in order to make it a very dark place, at best they would have to kickstart a new version of the Illuminati that's never existed in the comics in order to tell this tale after Avengers 4. So, yeah, I get a feeling they will form an Illuminati group in Avengers 4, but it will not feature the members that we know from the comics, because Tony Stark's going to be dead. Reed Richards, Namor, Black Bolt, they need to be reestablished. They have to be established in the MCU continuity. Black Panther needs to get more experience. The X-Men need to happen, and yeah, So yeah, that was the end of the first 3 issues of New Avengers. But I really enjoyed these. I really liked how this started out for Jonathan Hickman's run of the Avengers and New Avengers. Soon I'll be, I'm going to try and talk about this story as in order as best as I can. So I'm using a spreadsheet to keep track of all the orders I'm going with. But yeah, this is going to be a very dark, epic adventure of multiversal cataclysmic proportions. So we're going to be on a wild ride here. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Marvel's Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers issues 1 through 3. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.